Alright, so here's my 1994 Impreza Type RA. This is a Japanese model. They're kind of limited and had a bunch of extra stuff compared to the Wrx or STI at the time, and they were really stripped down to be super light. So this one has just about 100,000 kilometers on it. And my vision for the past 4 years has been to completely strip it down. I would rebuild the motor even though it was fine. And restore the chassis so it looks nice and fresh. As far as like rust and stuff, it's you know, a solid car, but has typical surface rust here and there. These cars never got like the rubberized undercoating to keep them light, so it's just right to metal. But yeah, so I'm gonna drop everything out of it. The interior's already been stripped and the inside's actually already all been sandblasted and cleaned. Believe it or not, even though these rockers look good, they've got some dents from some rally life. I'm still gonna cut the rockers off and replace them with new ones. Reason being, when I have them off, I can spray inside the channel with an epoxy coating, which I was gonna do with the whole chassis and all the suspension bits as well. I've got new bushings for the entire chassis, new suspension, brakes, all sorts of stuff. I got a mountain of parts for this car. But yeah, that's it. I don't think I've actually worked on this car or touched it in over 3 years. It's just kind of been sitting up there with a pile of parts on it. So I figure now is the time. It'd be nice to make some headway on it. Right, so she's down. Yeah, literally covered in assorted parts. I don't even know what's on it. Kite. Some taillights I was actually looking for a while ago. So now I've found them. Let's see if we can get a little gander of what's going on inside here. Inside it's a pretty solid car. The back's already been cleaned up. Gas tank's gonna come out, everything's gonna come out and then put back together. It also had a bolt-in Cusco roll cage, so I took that out, sandblasted it, and it's all been done in a semi-gloss black, so I am going to put that back in. Don't have much use for it otherwise. Yeah, exciting. Yeah, classic tiger stripe interior. So there's the carpet, back seats. Front seats have been over there forever. Yeah. So today I think I'm gonna work on getting the motor out so that I can take the whole front subframe out, sandblast everything, get it all epoxy coated, and then get all the new bushings in, and then clean up anything under the front of the chassis as I go. It has an STI clutch and flywheel from, it says on there, version 8, which is interesting. Definitely, because that's not the normal clutch and flywheel for these. What else is there? I was always worried this wasn't gonna be an EJ20G, but the valve covers are a good indicator. I was worried, you know, at some point it had a 205 put in it. It is updated very sketchy like to coil on plug, which I don't mind, but I'll clean that up. I'm also gonna get rid of this blow off valve, and I've got the original one to go back in. But yeah, you can see what they did to fit the STI clutch and flywheel. They had to grind a bunch of material out of the transmission, which I wish wasn't the case, but it is what it is. But yeah, she's out. Alright, so here's the progress I've made so far. Definitely slower than I wanted, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. But this is probably 3 hours. So we got, you know, anything that is actually rust out. Yeah, that's about as far as I made it. A lot of the spot welds getting some surface rust on them, like there's an example. So cleaned up. But yeah, I don't know if at this point I'm gonna just strip the rest of the car down and maybe take it to get professionally sandblasted and then they'll epoxy coat it as well. But before I do that, I would want to take the rockers off and clean inside of the rockers. So I mean, I can handle sandblasting that, and then I would put the rockers back on, do all the body work and stuff like that, then have the rest of the car blasted, because it's very tiring to do above your head. And I mean, I probably have another 20 hours, maybe even more, to try and do the rest of the car. So pretty intense, definitely some back aching work. I mean, it is getting there. It's really coming along compared to what it was. I mean, there's like the other side that I haven't touched yet. It's not horrible rust, just surface rust, but still super exhausting to do over your head. So we'll see what the next step will be. I think I'm going to ponder on it overnight, but I'd have to pull the rest of the wire harness out of the car. And ideally they want the glass out of the car too, which I wasn't too keen on, because I mean the roof doesn't have any rust or anything like that. So I don't know. To be continued.